Hello, everyone. I am Captain Poofers, and today we're going to be a little bit more formal. The subject matter is about ChrisChan, and it's, well, a very serious matter that I want to touch upon. I don't normally do commentary. I feel like I don't really do a good job at commentary. I feel like I suck at it, quite honestly. So I usually avoid the subject matter completely. I make funny, silly video game stuff and move on. Most of which no one has ever seen or will probably ever see. I'm not really good at that either. I'm really just doing YouTube for shits and giggles. Occasionally, though, I come across a story that I really want to talk about. So, in this particular case, we're not going to do an intro. We're not going to have a thumbnail. We're not going to have music in the background. It's just going to be you and me. And I'm going to talk about a topic that I think needs a little bit more of a serious tone. Now, for those of you who don't know, we're going to be talking about ChrisChan, who has autism, and his mother, who suffers from dementia, and the fact that ChrisChan decided to take advantage of his elderly mother, who's in her 80s, by the way, and decided to have, how do I put this? Decided to have relations, shall we say, of the overly friendly kind. And I guess that's the best way I can put it. Now, I could, after listening to a number of commentary, people who are in the commentary community, I've decided to have my own take on this. I could be like Tommy C, by the way, and I could laugh at this entire situation, make jokes, and I'm not saying that isn't the wrong way of doing it. I think you should laugh at a situation that is truly, absolutely shocking. I've never seen a scenario like this, and I've always had a disconnect when I'm talking about individuals. When I was doing commentary, EDP was a great example. I would make fun of the guy. I had a laugh at it. No one got hurt, you know. Lion Maker, another one. I think you should laugh your ass off. In fact, YouTube took his videos down, but I think there are some videos that I believe need to stay up in the National Archives of YouTube. And his dehinging, shall we say, is some of the best comedy I've ever seen. So yeah, I think that you should be able to laugh at this situation, and I'm not going to belittle Tommy for doing it. Hell, I watched his show. I was laughing my ass off. I actually became a member just so I could listen to the ChrisChan situation. It was it was the best. It was the best thing. If you want to laugh, you know. However, the big takeaway there is I, when people say you're a motherfucker, we don't exactly expect to take it seriously and literally, and well, decide to do the nasty tango with their own mother. That was my attempt at a joke. Like I said, I can't bring myself to joke about this situation. I'm trying. I'm really trying. I can bring out a number of MILF jokes if I wanted to, but I don't think that for me, just for me, would be appropriate because this situation bothers me so goddamn much. I could be like Voblax, right? And I could shake my fists and I could be angry and take it personally. But every time I look into the ChrisChan story, every time I look into the past of ChrisChan, I actually have a problem with that too. Nothing about this story makes me feel good. I see ChrisChan as someone who is bullied, as someone who didn't have too many breaks, as someone who I see him as a victim. I hate to say it, I see him as a victim. So I can't bring myself to be angry at him. And that's probably a bad take. You know what? That's probably a bad take. I'm sorry. I just feel for the guy. I really do. So I can't be angry at ChrisChan. I could be Tipster and not cover this story. And you know what? I don't think that I can't cover this story. I could easily just walk away, right? I could easily just walk away and ignore it. But this is really bothering me. I don't just see ChrisChan as the victim. Don't get me wrong. What he did was absolutely abhorrent. I also see his mother as a victim too. And I'll explain this. But and once again, I'm not excusing what ChrisChan did by any stretch of the imagination. I see this whole situation as a clusterfuck. And I can't bring myself to just not say anything about it. And you know, with Tipster, I've got a lot of respect for the guy. I disagree with him once or twice, in the past. But I always knew that the guy had a big enough heart, and he's a really good guy. He just just sometimes, that heart gets in the way, and that's fine. That's fine. I understand where he's coming from, and that's why I still support him. Right? Nothing but love for Tipster. Nothing but love for Tipster. And this isn't one of those times where I disagree with him. If he's not comfortable covering a story, he should have every goddamn right not to cover that damn story. So let's go into it. Let's go into why I feel like I need to cover this story, at least just a little bit. So I'm not going to make this about me. This can't be about me. It has to be about ChrisChan, and it has to be about his mother. Now, my problem with this whole situation, with this whole story, is I feel like, and this is going to sound stupid. It sounds stupid to me. But I feel like society, in some way, shape, or form, has failed Chris. Here you have someone who's autistic, who shouldn't be on the internet, by the way. Some people shouldn't be on the internet. Hell, some people shouldn't even be on YouTube, right? Look at Boogie2988. He cannot take criticism well. He cannot take controversy well. Look at Wings of Redemption. The guy spurgs out. Although he's getting better. He's getting better. Have to give him that. Certain people, certain individuals shouldn't be on the internet. They shouldn't be on YouTube. I think ChrisChan is a part of that. You have the Kiwi Farm and 4chan crowd just having the best day of their lives trolling this guy. And he's got the mentality of what? An 11, 12-year-old? We're talking about an individual who can't discern the difference between fantasy and reality. We're talking about an individual who sees the cartoon world as real, as something that you can just walk to. You could just go into. Just open a portal and there you are. Like when you die, that's where you go. That's what we're talking about here. And yeah, I can't. I can't just think that there should have been more. There should have been something for him. There should have, and that's not all 4chan. That's not all like Kiwi Farms, as far as I'm to understand. There was individuals out there. There were individuals out there who were looking after and protecting ChrisChan. For those of you out there, right? Kudos. Special thanks goes out to Noel, right? Who's been looking out for that guy. Seriously, I didn't like, man. I wish I could pin a medal on that guy. Seriously, he was a real friend to ChrisChan, and I say was because of certain instances that happened quite recently, and I'll go into those too. But when you have like a vast group of people within Kiwi Farms and 4chan just being absolutely disgusting little fucking piss turds, right? Not all of them, not all of them. Who would trick ChrisChan into sticking a medallion up his ass? I mean, what kind of a fucking lowly ass individual are you, where you get your jollies out of screwing with someone who has autism? Like, what kind of character do you have? Like, what kind of person do you think you're going to grow up into when you're morally bankrupt? I mean, how fucking dare you? So and this went on for years. And there was a group, like I said, within Kiwi Farms and 4chan, who would go out of their way to protect ChrisChan. And good on you. Good on you. So that's one aspect where society has failed with ChrisChan, with the bullying. Another aspect, and it's a little known fact, but people are saying ChrisChan's going to go to jail, ChrisChan's going to go to jail, ChrisChan's going to go to jail. Well, in our society, unfortunately, it doesn't work like law and order. With this certain situation, what ChrisChan did in the state of Virginia, as far as I'm to know it, is break a law, which happens to be incest, where one or both individuals could go to jail. That's right. His mother could go to jail too. If she was coherent at the time, right? If they could prove that she knew what she was doing, and that's just shit, by the way, because I think everyone sees her as a victim. I see her as a victim, for fuck's sake. I mean, how can you accuse someone with dementia of being able of consenting to something like that with your own child? So, and people are like, well, won't he go to a mental institution? Unfortunately, it's much more economical to just throw them in jail. It doesn't work like Law and Order, where, oh, well, clearly he's not mentally sound. Let's send him to a mental facility. No, no. I hope he goes to one where he can get the help he needs. But unfortunately, what we see far often than not, especially where I live, which is Illinois, where the prison systems are overcrowded with individuals who happen to have mental illnesses, right? And the corrections officers don't have the training needed to actually deal with them. Yeah, that's fucking shit. That's exactly where Chris is going. I can almost bet it. And that is a problem within society. It just pisses me off. Because, like I said, I see Chris as a victim too. I don't think he's like the actions are 100% his own. When you have a problem with discerning the difference between reality and fantasy, at that point, you know, not the best. Not altogether there. So he should go to a mental facility. His mom shouldn't he shouldn't be taking care of someone with dementia. By the way, he has a what is it, a half brother? And as far as I know, his half brother doesn't want to help his mom. Here's another thing. When this whole thing came down and the police decided to look into it, thank God, they put his mother in protective custody. He can't go back home for the next 6 days. Okay, he just can't. And so he tried to live with his aunt and uncle, and they pretty much told him to piss off. Family, right? Maybe, well, you know what? Maybe they found it quite disgusting too. Like I do. I find it absolutely abhorrent, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, this probably is a whole bad take. So you know what? He was living on the streets for a couple of days. Then, from what I understand, he ended up stealing 750, withdrawing money from his mom's bank account. there's a YouTuber. I don't I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'll put it in the link in the description. Null, who had access to everything that ChrisChan was doing, confronted him because he had the actual receipts, literally the receipts of the transaction, and brought it to the attention of the police. Well, he confronted Chris about it, right? Who lied at first, and then, from what I understand, when he showed him the receipts, Chris eventually admitted it. Then, at that point, Noel decided to break off all contact with Chris because he was done with it too, even his best friend, and report that to the police. And that could be a violation of Chris's protective custody against him. So, yeah, we're looking at jail. We're looking at jail. That's shit. Like, like I said, this is probably a bad take. This is probably a bad take. But I don't. The warning signs were here, ladies and gentlemen, from the very beginning. No one saw them. No one said anything. The secret, by the way, that Chris was, Noel was trying to protect, he decided to release that secret, which happens to be that Chris had met a woman who had kids, who was in her 50s, and he was having relations with her. We later found out that it was probably just an elaborate lie to make it, because all the details kind of line up for ChrisChan to actually say that he's doing his mom. The person he was describing was actually his mom. Her job was in accounting. Barb, his mother, was in accounting. So I think he did it. I think he did it. I like I said, I could make a joke. I could be angry. I could not cover the story. But I'm just bothered by it. I feel for Chris. I feel for his mom. I don't know how else, what other tone to take but a serious tone. I can't, like, my brain has just snapped. There is no other story that I've ever covered, which wasn't that many. I think it was like 12 or 13. But each and every one I was disconnected, and I could laugh at. I could have a good time with. I hear about the story, and I'm just getting depressed. Why is it in society when you become a certain age, right? Here's a big thing. This is why I think that, and this is just my personal belief, right? Based on what I know. I'm not a fucking expert. Take with what I say with a fucking grain of salt. Do your own goddamn research. But from what I understand, in America, guess what? We do have a problem with mental illness. I know, shocker. Why do we have a problem with mental illness? Well, there's not exactly a lot of resources for adults. Specifically, in this particular case, those with autism. There's a lot of resources for kids, right? But once you hit that magical number 18, apparently you're cured of fucking autism. At least as far as the United States is concerned. Because all those resources dry up. They're meant for kids. They're not meant for adults. That you have all these programs designed to help families when their child has autism when they're a kid. But you have very few resources, very few programs out there when that child becomes an adult. And that is just absolutely sickening. Why is it that we send people to jail when they break the law, when they have a mental illness, and not a mental institution? Opinion, not fact. But more often than not, do I hear these horror stories? Why is it that there isn't enough resources for adults who have autism? That's just insane. Again, I'm not spouting fact here. Do your own goddamn research. But I'm outraged. You know what? I am a little bit angry. But I'm not angry at Chris. I'm not angry at that guy. I can't. I can't. Oh my God. I'm angry at society. This bullshit of, misogyny and this bullshit about social justice warrior shit. It's bullshit. But that's what society wants to focus on right now, instead of real, actual problems. And it's upsetting. Ignore mental illness because you fuckers don't have it. We'll figure it out later. Maybe another generation will take care of it. And that's fucking bullshit. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. This isn't the only situation where we've seen mental illness become a problem. We've seen school shootings happen over it, for fuck's sake, where the individual had access to guns and a mental illness. And this shit is going to keep happening. And we're not going to do anything about it. We're just going to throw people who break the law in jail instead of where they need to go. And I do hope, that the state of Virginia has some pity on ChrisChan. I really do. I'm probably the only one who gives a fuck about the guy. And I don't know. Maybe that's what's bothering me about this story. Anyway, I said what I had to say. I got it off my fucking chest. This was like a one-off. I'm going back to video games. I'm going back to my fantasy world and forgetting that I ever fucking did this. I do this, like I said, I do this for shits and giggles. I don't do this to. I hate to make that point, but I'm not a YouTuber guy. No, that's not it. I'm just doing this for shits and giggles, and that's it. That's all I'm doing. Like I said, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna play some fucking video games. I'm gonna forget this. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna fucking forget it. You know. But the difference between me and ChrisChan, are you ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? Is I can discern the difference between fantasy and reality. ChrisChan can't. So yeah, I'm Captain Poofers. Take care, everyone. Hey, everybody, I decided to add something here. ChrisChan isn't 100% completely, innocent here either, right? I don't believe he has the mental facilities to understand certain things, obviously, but he's also not exactly 100% a nice individual. Like he ran over a guy with his car at one point, and has maced someone. In both instances, fortunately, the individuals who he's attacked haven't been seriously injured, so he's not 100%, the best individual, out there, right? I'm just saying because he hasn't had like a lot of support, the places that he's gone with, the people that he's met, can't talk. The people that he's met, most of them actually not exactly the best individuals, right? He took that, and it's just I'm not excusing it. Let's say this. I'm not excusing it. So he's not 100% completely blameless either. Especially this last part where he actually did his own mother. Absolutely disgusting and despicable. I don't want people to think that I'm just 100% defending him. I'm just saying I don't want him to go to fucking jail. I don't want him to have to suffer that through that fucking experience. I don't think that someone like ChrisChan should go to jail. I really don't. I think a mental facility would probably be for the fucking best, right? I just sadly don't see that actually happening. So, yeah, sorry. I don't. I'm not excusing this, by the way. I'm not excusing his behavior at all. I don't want people to think that. But yeah, just to interject here, because I know someone is going to be furiously typing in the comment section. Well, you don't know ChrisChan. He did this, that, and the. I'm well aware. I'm well aware, right? I just, like I said, I see him as part of a victim too. I, and I feel like society has failed him. Just, it doesn't excuse his actions, and that's. I don't want people to think that. I really don't. So, I just needed to add that last bit in there. I do apologize. I do apologize.